Super Mike 2164. I'm going live. I have a quick conversation because this is just a maintenance topic, but we should know.
I know I would surely leave you, woman. Oh, if I could, I surely would. Appreciate nothing I do. Woman, you won't do a thing I ask, baby. And I still gotta do everything for you.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Super Mike 2164. I want y'all to go ahead and press the thumbs up button. Go ahead, subscribe. Press the subscribe button in red if it's in red, and click the little bell so you can get every single last upload that I get. And I don't go live all the time, so hopefully I won't bug you. But we like to have some fun and learn at the same time. That's the whole point of knowledge. We're supposed to spread it and invite others in. So I want y'all to go ahead and spread this message. Go ahead, share it to your social media. Put it on Facebook. Go on Black Enough. Start to Black Medias. Go ahead and put your Black Medias in the chat or in the comments and let me know where you're sharing it, because, we need to go ahead and connect with each other. So the topic today, I want to get us into a situation. We're in a situation with the Western world now, because it's more than America now, but we're still focusing on America, those of us who are in America. But now we're dealing with the Western world. We have this love-hate relationship with these people. We've been fighting these folks, if we go back into history, for thousands of years now. There's always been some sort of struggle. And a lot of us want to play delusion games because maybe sometimes we were raised up and we were friendly with people. And it's not about a skin color. There's not about a flesh and a blood. This struggle, it's really about the comeback of the original. And that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with the restoration of, sustainability. And people talking about sustainable goals, right? Well, we got a definition of sustainability as well. The black world has. And what we need to understand is, our definition of sustainability makes more sense than theirs. It's not about stealing from others and tricking people to death. And the thing is, though, but if we don't recognize the information that we've been given, you're going to have to be able to tell what's true and what's not true. And there's a battle that's going on, and the signs are everywhere. But if you can't read these signs, if you don't understand this struggle, if you don't see these patterns, then you're going to stay on the wrong team. You're going to stay on the wrong team, and you're going to sit here and die thinking you're doing something good. So I'm going to play a couple of clips. Let's see. Let's see if we can just, reason together. Just random clips. Well, not random, I guess. Just trying to paint a certain picture to let us know what's actually going on. So let's look at this here. Okay. Look at Prince. What is he talking about?
Don't be fooled by the internet. It's cool. It's cool to get on the computer, but don't let the computer get on you. It's cool. It's cool to use the computer. Don't let the computer use you. You all saw The Matrix. There's a war going on. The battlefield's in the mind. And the prize is the soul.
Listen to this again.
There's a war going on. The battlefield's in the mind. And the prize is the soul. There's a war going on. The battlefield's in the mind. And the prize is the soul.
Think about that.
There's a war going on. The battlefield's in the mind. And the prize is the soul. So just be careful. Very careful.
Listen, what was Prince telling us real quick and real smooth? What is Prince telling us? Hey, I mean, some of us would dismiss that. Some of us will dismiss that. Look at Judge Brown right here, just now, 5 hours ago. I see a governor just signed a law that removed requirements to be able to read and count for high school graduation. Such things say a lot about this sorry state of affairs in this country. So how can you graduate if you cannot read and count for high school? What kind of human brains are you producing? Okay, that's interesting there. So we need to understand this here. What's going on, everybody? Go ahead and press the thumbs up button and share the message. You know, the thing is, there is a war going on. What is this war? We need to understand what this war is. And we've been taught about what this war is. But for different people, because our lives are in different situations, we need to hear it over and over and over again. But we have to understand a war means you have an opposing party. You have battles going on. You have somebody opposing everything that's true. So everything that's true, you're going to have somebody else telling you that it's not true. And you're going to have to make a decision. Your survival and your soul. When I say your soul, I'm not talking about something somewhere else in another universe. I'm talking about you and your line and your lineage. See, because you are more than just your individual self. You are more than just your individual self. You are yourself, your lineage, the people that will come from you and will be affected by you and your knowledge. So that's more than just you. That's what you are. You are connected. You're not an independent being. You require others and others require you. Okay, so there's this battle going on. Let me try to get closer to this battle. Now, I don't know if some of us remember this movie. Some of y'all too young to remember this movie, but there's a movie called V.
The World Scientific Community.
So let's listen to this here. The Visitors. You know, the visitors, they were alien beings, aliens. They were temporary. They said they were here just for a little while. But there's a whole mini-series. They came to Earth, but these were reptilian beings. But, you know, they came on a spaceship. But let's look at it.
Visitors arrived in 50 gigantic motherships. which stunned the world with their monumental size and power.
We have come in peace because we need your help. And in return, we will gladly share with you all the fruits of our knowledge.
Talk about an offer we can't refuse, huh?
I wonder what would happen if we did.
Manufacturing plants around the world were retooled to produce chemicals the visitors need for survival on their planet. In the weeks that followed, the visitors became a new and friendly part of our lives.
You go to movies?
I do not. Yes.
A visitor youth organization was formed, encouraging teenagers to join their ranks. The visitors were quickly assimilated into our culture.
I'm not very good at this.
Many close relationships developed between our people and theirs. But there were some who were skeptical, too inquisitive. They began to quickly disappear. And then
The world was shocked today when Nobel Prize winner Dr. Maurice Jankowski of the Brussels Biomedical Institute in Belgium held a press conference to reveal the existence of an international conspiracy against the visitors.
Jankowski had unshakable proof that a conspiracy of scientists around the world was about to seize control of visitor ships for their own gain. A groundswell of resentment and prejudice quickly built against the world scientific community.
I can't work for you no more.
Because my husband is a scientist?
Yeah, I wrecked it up, said I was just a dirty little scientist kid. Another biochemist, Phyllis, she didn't show today. Just like Ruth and all the others.
No truth to those rumors.
Shall I stay then?
See you, Diddy.
Becoming more
So just so we know what's going on, guys, just so we know that, and like I said, press the thumbs up, share the message. So the thing is here, if we look at V, this is the visitors. And if we notice that in this system, good TV show and drama always parallels some reality. So if you notice, the scientists were attacked because the scientists, people who investigate, who are inquisitive, who ask questions, they're trying to get at the actual truth. That's the type of mindset you have to have in order to survive the situation that we're going through right now. These people, they make a promise. Folks, they love to make a promise. And because they know what you want, but you give them everything you supposed to give them. But then when it comes time for them to give you what you're supposed to have, it doesn't happen. For example, look at the Democrats. We're seeing how the Democrats and Republicans and politics in general, the white politics, Western world politics, it extracts, but it doesn't give back. You know what I'm saying? And this is something that is consistent around what we call Western world. This is how they gain power. They use slavery. They don't do win-win scenarios. They steal, but they don't want to balance the equation. And we know that we live in a universe of balance. We have mathematics, we have science and physics, we have chemistry. It's all based on a balancing. Okay, what's going on, everybody? Press the thumbs up. We're just talking about how to understand what's going on, the war that's happening. We listened to Prince. We just checked out this show here, V.
suspicious of the
Let's play a
visitors.
little more.
News cameraman Mike Donovan infiltrated one of the huge motherships and discovered that the visitors had orchestrated the conspiracy themselves so that scientists would be ostracized around the world. And Donovan also videotaped another startling revelation. But as Donovan's tape was about to be broadcast,
Just don't.
Hey, somebody's pulled AT&T right out from under us. The whole damn network's off the air.
Look, we.
So What's going on? What's going on, Kelly Ray? What's happening? What's happening? Go ahead, spread the message. And what we're doing is, like I said, this is a battle. This is a war. We need to understand what the war is. It's not. And I'm going to go back and play what Prince said. We just need to understand. This is. I'm just. This is maintenance lessons, and anybody who understands the levels. If you've been studying this stuff and you understand how this kind of battle of good and bad and right and wrong, if you understand this, then you should be talking about this as well.
To say is,
let's look at it. I want to go back here.
don't be fooled by the internet. It's cool to get on the computer, but don't let the computer get on you. It's cool to use the computer. Don't let the computer use you. You all saw The Matrix. There's a war going on. The battlefield's in the mind. And the prize is the soul. There's a war going on. The battlefield's in the mind. And the prize is the soul. There's a war going on. The battlefield's in the mind. And the prize is the soul. So just be careful.
So the thing is, see, a lot of us, we hear stuff like that. We hear people talking about those kind of things. We hear people talking about, the Illuminati. We hear people talking about the Bilderberg Group. We hear people talking about the Federal Reserve Bank. We hear people talking about, the deep state. We hear people talking about ancient Babylonian, issues and ancient aliens. And I'm going to go over that a little bit later when I talk about the Mars thing. We have this racial component, which even some of the most intelligent and the most intelligent and even the most, what I would call woke. And woke is a good term. And we should not allow any mainstream entity to demonize the terminology of woke, because woke means that you are aware, and we would like everyone to be aware. Awareness is a good thing. Awareness is never to be demonized, and anybody who is trying to demonize awareness, that right there is your signal to look at them sideways. Any entity, especially a political establishment type of entity that wants to demonize awareness, or what we call woke, look at them sideways. Now we have to understand, because like I said before, we need to understand this is really good versus bad. And there is actually, but the thing is, we cannot ignore the racial component in it, because that was part of the mix. But if you are aware of things, you would not be offended by the racial component of it, because you'll understand of what the end result is and how it should go. But this thing is, let's go a little more. I just want everybody to understand this here. This is a lot of the source. When you understand basic stuff about what's going on out here, then you have a little more patience and you know how to deal with it a little bit more. So remember, this show was called V. I'm going to go over this here. We have this thing. Let me see here. I'm going to play this. Now, this is Elijah Muhammad. Now, I'm not going to play this one, but I just want to show you his picture.
1 year before that.
Now, Elijah Muhammad was what everybody is taught to hate this guy, Elijah Muhammad. And there's some reasons why people who benefit from the current system would hate this man. But even if you benefited from the current system and you have a higher understanding of what's long term, what's important long term, you won't hate this man, because what it is when the thing is, it's like this. The way this system has gotten its power, it steals from what's true and what's right. So slavery was stealing of labor, and even before racial slavery, we had these things called, what was it called, feudalisms and all that stuff. Basically, stealing from one group of people. You demonize one group of people based on whatever. You can say that based on their lineage, based on whatever. You demonize them, you steal from them, and you can do whatever you want to them. This is the system that has gotten this world into such a destroyed place. Right. Right. Yeah. And the thing is, progressive. You can't demonize something that's if you're progressing good, then it can't be bad. And that's what I'm saying. You can't allow people, they use terminology and language to mess folks up and to mess up your brain, because we have to understand that our minds deal in symbolism. This is the reason why symbols are so powerful, because a symbol can mean more than one thing to many different people. So I can say one word, but it'll mean several things to several different folks. But the thing is, we have to understand that this time is changing. We're moving into a different world now. And when I'm saying a different world, the foundation of the world of stealing, lying, killing, all that kind of thing, in order to survive, that is at its wit's end, because you can't keep destroying the planet Earth, because this is the limit of that, because now the Earth, you got the weather killing everybody, messing up everything. It's balancing itself. If we have to balance everything, this is how the universe works. You look at chemistry, you look at physics, you look at mathematics. There's a thing called equality. There's an equation. If you do one thing to this side of the equal sign, the other side of the equal sign is going to balance itself out. It just happens automatically. And so that's where we're at now. And so if you want to survive past this point, you're going to have to understand what's true and what's not true. And then you better understand what's true. And it may hurt what you think, the way we survived in the past, for example, and I'll say this because, like I said, people who are classified as white, the skin, all that stuff, that's not an evil thing. But first of all, everybody's human. But the thing is, a lot of folks who are classified as white for a long time, a lot of them were put above because of the way that they're elite groups. Now, keep in mind, every group has, levels of people in it. So the elite groups of folks who are classified as white, they said, okay, we're going to be supreme, and we're going to base this supremacy based on our skin color. Now, that was actually not a true foundation of supremacy, but this is what they did. So doesn't mean everybody's evil. It just means this is what happened. So now that lie has reached its wit's end. And so that thing is starting to kind of degrade itself. Now, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to play this here. This is talking about what's called Armageddon. And this is Elijah Muhammad talking about that subject. And I'm going to play what he said here. And I want everybody to listen to it real quick, because, see, this is kind of the foundation of what's bringing us to this point.
What is Armageddon? Now, you have been listening to this all your life, that the Armageddon war will be fought at the judgment. Let's look and see what the first three letters pronounced on. A-R-M on. A, Yedu. Yet, arm is that has been trying to get to each other for ages, working towards the doom of each other. It is this fellow. No, yeah, that's good. What is it? Go stay. Go take a seat. Come on. With this man here hanging on that tree, there is no shadow of a doubt what you have not read of Christians under this flag especially under this flag, that they have murdered and hanged our brothers on the tree. This is good. I want you to remember that the good is you see how you have been mistreated. Now, if the people have treated you with such evil, and they still done it, what right you have to defend them? To live that same life under their flag. I'm only asking you for truth. There's so many of us so lazy we don't want to leave the white man because we want him to take care of it. I say, my brother, if you are that lazy, who do you think wants you?
So now what I played that for is this. He talked about Armageddon, arms gathered for the doom. This here, he's talking about, and in that clip, he's talking about he's talking to black people, because the black folks had been you got to realize you got to come straight to the people who have been most damaged by the system, and that's black folks in America. So he's teaching the black people how to be self-sufficient first, because when you're bringing balance now, that's what the world needs. It's called balance. That balance, it doesn't look good for some groups of people because people are used to the way it's been going, but that is unsustainable. So when you're talking about balance, you got to make sure one group of people who were dependent, which black folks are, we were told that we were basically the same thing as we were given the same rights as America, even though that in Americans as white folks in America, but that's not actually true. And we got the proof of that. So the thing is, you got to bring balance to people. So he's talking about arms gathered for the doom. So there's two opposing forces. There's what we call a group of people who would rather live in a world of lies and deception. Okay, so it doesn't matter what your color is, but if you'd rather live in the world of lies and deception, those people who choose that world versus the people, doesn't matter your color, who would rather live in the world of balance and you succeed by how truthful and how righteous you are. That's the world that we're leading ourselves to. So those two worlds are clashing because if you notice most of the criticism, we're calling out the politicians. They're lying. Oh, you're cheating, you're stealing, you see. And that is the criticism. So the people would rather have truth. Most of the people would rather have truth. Now, a lot of us, we like lies too because we live in this world and we got a lot of bad habits, but that's as a result of surviving. You know, a lot of us, we have to gain some of these bad habits so we can survive. We won't survive unless you get some of these bad habits. But let me look at this. So we have this thing here, and I'm not going to go through all of it, but I just want everybody to understand this right here is NSSM 200. That is an official, right? And this is what I'm trying to tell people. And this is what, and like I said, this will be confusing for a lot of people who classify as white, because you got to understand, we are not just what we appear to be in the very moment of time. We really, just like Jesus said in the Bible, a man is as he thinketh, and that's man. And when I'm talking about man, I'm talking about human. So it's male and female. You are what you, as you believe, and your beliefs, your ideas are going to lead you to certain choices. And those certain choices are going to put you around certain groups of people. It's going to have you fighting for certain causes. And that is going to be your family. And that's what your lineage will end up as. So we are not just how we appear in the very moment of time. So this is our body, right? But we got our body from our parents' choices. And then our children, our lineage, our DNA will appear based on our choices. You see what I'm saying? So this is the reason why it's more importantly how we think. If we can get our minds to as close to the truth of what's actually real. Now, keep in mind, we may know some truth, but if you think you know all the truth, you don't know nothing. Even me, what I think I know, I have to know that I don't know certain stuff. As long as you understand that there's a lot of stuff you will not know, you just won't. And then that allows you to always be looking and to be careful with what you put out. This National Security Memorandum was put out by Henry Kissinger, classified by, what's his name? Henry Blaney III, subject to general declassification schedule of executive order. So it was declassified in 1989, but it was put out in like 70, 74 or something like that. This thing here, let's look at the title. Okay, so what is it talking about? It's talking about implications of worldwide population growth for the U.S. security and overseas interests. So, okay, we're deciding how many people should live and die. Okay, so that's what this thing is talking about. And I will not go over this whole thing, but I'm just telling people, if you're interested, you can go through that. We'll go through some of the table of contents. So you got the world demographic trends. Okay, the world demographic trends. Okay, so that was a concern. It was like the first chapter, basically. We got the summary, and we'll go through some of the summary. Population of the world, food supplies, minerals, fuel, all that. Okay. Now we know that there's enough food for everybody in the world. I mean, there's enough food for all the bears in the world, for all of the rabbits. We got lions, tigers, bears. We got seals. We got whales. If you telling me it's enough food for all that stuff, but people, we got a problem with food? No, there's not no problem with food for people. But this particular group of people, this particular section of people want to have a certain level of control, okay, and power. And they see that changing because of the demographic trends that we're dealing with. And so y'all can look at that, but I just wanted to show this one. Basically, they decided in here that it was smart to start poisoning people with food. They tried to do this in the 70s to try to reduce some of this population. So the UN estimates that 3.6 billion population estimates the 3.6 billion population of 1970 as a base. There are nearly 4 billion now, and project from about 6 billion to 8 billion people for the year 2000. Okay, to them, this is their doomsday at this time. With the U.S. median estimates of yada yada. I ain't going through all that. But the growing populations, we will have serious impacts on the needs for food, especially, they try to justify, oh, we can't feed everybody. We need to kill some of them. Well, if they can't eat, they'll die anyway, right? So anyway, but they decided they wanted to have that for their choice. They wanted to make it their choice. But really what they want is the minerals and the food. Minerals and food. Rapid population growth is not in itself major factor in pressure of depletable resources, the fossil fuels and everything. So they're talking about that it's going to be some of the poorest problems for poor people. That's not what they're concerned about. What they're concerned about is people getting revenge. Because you stole a lot of stuff and we're only on one planet, right? The planet is limited. The planet, you can steal around the world only for so long. And now, you done got yourself to the top of the little food chain. Can we go to Mars? And I'll talk about that in a couple hours. Mars, because they found water on Mars, which is no big deal. Because we knew this for a while ago, but with Cydonia, I'll explain some of that a little later. But the point is, we need to understand that this is the change of societies. These people, what they call elites and stuff, these folks are not going to have power. And what's going to end up happening is they're so pissed. At first they was just trying to kill the black people. And I'll play this. But now they're just killing everybody because what it is they're like, to them, they're like, you know what? They have decided that it's just a certain type of Aryan. There's a certain type of lineage that they want to keep, really. Okay. And then of that lineage, they want a certain type that will be the even top of that. I forgot what they call it because they have sections of this. I got all this paperwork, but I'm not going through all of that right now because I don't want to make this thing go too long. But the point is, they have a certain elite section. Oh man, I forgot what it's called. But we can look at Earl Lothrop Stoddard's book, and white supremacy in the rise and tide of color. So he has it in that, and Errol Severe Cox, this guy named White America. This is that literal plan. This is eugenics movement. Margaret Sanger and all of them, they have this thing with the eugenics movement. This is Darwinism. This is, this is what this is based on here. And so it's all about their ideas of who should live and who should die. And then the people who should live, who should be a slave and who should not. This is the idea. They can't, number one, they can't win. But, if they did win, it would be horrible for the people who survived. It would be horrible for these people. But the point is, they keep these plans secret. If you care about it, go through that. You'll see what I'm talking about. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I'm going to play this here because it's easier for us to see.
Catastrophically falling birth rates, well below the replacement level.
It's entirely possible that the French will disappear. There will be no native-born French that come from the traditional French population.
What some call the demographic winter of Western societies.
For those of us who were raised to believe in the teachings of Thomas Malthus or Charles Darwin, for example, these trends are very hard to absorb.
Now, why is the trend hard to absorb? The trend is hard to absorb because it's based on a lie. You see, they lied to everybody. They said that it's survival of the fittest. This is what their teachings is. It's a religion, really. And it's kind of like that, but they said that they made themselves believe that simply because their skin, just their skin, was white, they made themselves believe this, that this is the reason why they had the power to crush everyone else and to dominate, and they could steal their labor for hundreds of years and just forget that it happened. Don't even talk about that. You little dark people, stop talking. You're not allowed. Yeah, the world been began, but we have to recognize it. You see what I'm saying? This is the problem. What I'm talking about is a lot of people out here, we don't want to believe. We want to, no, because, and that's fine, because a lot of us come from different little spots, and I understand it's hard to believe, but the war is in your mind. Just what did Prince say? What did Prince tell us? Prince said, it's a war for your soul, because if you choose the wrong side, I don't care what your color is on your skin. This is the lie that everybody has been telling. This is what has to go away. And this is what's hurting. The lie, when it goes away, it hurts. It hurts because it's very difficult for people to believe they've been lied to for all these hundreds of years. In school, Darwin was telling you survival of the fittest. You see what I'm saying? You can't survive for that long off of cheating and stealing and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't. Okay, yeah, you get to survive for a couple hundred years like that. Yeah, you get to survive a couple hundred years. But well, yeah, we playing by but we playing by the wrong rules. See, we playing by the wrong rules. We playing by the rules of people who have actually cheated and stolen. But when you play by the rules that's going to make you win, see, the rules is to win. That's the real rules. So the rules, see that right there, the rules. See, us even believing that, the rules. Who sets those? Who made those? You see, these people made what we call because they don't want got the chance to educate us. So you see, and then they teach you about the history, so you have that little time span, the small little time span that they allow you. And even in your own time span, they don't even teach you of certain stuff. They're good at hiding information. But let's just look, because like I said, the real is popping out, and we all have to understand it. It's not, and it's gonna hurt some of us, but we got to understand that it's better if we get out of the old stuff and deal with what's actually true.
Welcome back to The Ed Show. For the first time ever, most babies being born in the United States are non-white. Non-Hispanic white children under age 2 make up less than half, according to the Census Bureau and other statistics. Babies of a racial or ethnic minority, when combined, make up more than half. By the middle of this century, racial and ethnic minorities will together become the majority in America, and not.
Now, see, even to accept that even that they call you a minority, this is actually an insult. But I mean, this is the language that we've been living under. This is the language. So I mean, it's not, when we say this stuff, this is the reason why when I say stuff, I do not hate white people. I do not hate anybody. I love anybody who's dealing with what's trying to actually really deal with truth. This is what we need to understand, because the world is going to change, and the people who understand what's right, your lineage is going to survive. It doesn't matter what color you look like right now, because you're going to survive. But the thing is, this old stealing and raping people and hiding their histories and all this kind of stuff, this ain't going to survive that much longer. This is phasing out. It's being phased out. And so that's the war that's going on. Now, if you want to think that this stuff here, where you can steal an entire group of people and then take their histories and stuff like that, and you think that's cool, and you can do that for hundreds of years, and that's going to survive like that, no. That you ain't going to never be able to do that again in history, in time. That'll never be able to happen that way no more. And they're trying to do it by making people ignorant, but it's just not going to happen like that. But this is the issue that they're having a problem with. And if I was white people, I would want to be, if I was them, instead of trying to fight us, I would be like, okay, you know what? We need to go ahead and have our own little spot for the white people who want to stay white. But, they don't want to do that. They want the old stuff. Let's just check out a couple more pieces of this and then we'll move on.
Non-white Hispanic whites will be in the minority. It's a huge shift happening and one that has been long predicted. Just to give you an idea of how big a shift this is, 80% of seniors 65 years of age or older are white. 73% of Americans age 45 to 64 are white. Unfortunately, this is the kind of shift that causes fear among some Americans. Fears about race and fears about immigration. It helps perpetuate cruel laws against immigrants. There are even those who want to revoke birthright citizenship for some, even though it's in the Constitution. Some people are afraid of change in this country, but the truth is, the only thing normal is change.
The Census Bureau has taken a new snapshot of America, and it shows some dramatic changes and predicts still more ahead. For one thing, the new report says more than 4 out of 10 Americans under the age of 20 belong to racial or ethnic minorities.
And this is old.
Nearly 1 in 10 counties, minorities are now the majority. Nancy Cordes has more.
The census figures reveal a new reality in America's classrooms. Minority populations are climbing everywhere.
The white population, I wouldn't say is fading into the background, but it is becoming the older, less fertile part of the population.
When demographer William Fry crunched the data, he found huge jumps in the Hispanic population, far from the traditional melting pots. Up 21% in St. Joseph, Missouri, up 17% in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and 15% in Pascagoula, Mississippi, all in just 1 year's time.
You're seeing it everywhere. People are going for jobs. They're going because they want the American dream.
Whites still make up 66% of the population, but their numbers have grown only 2% since 2000, compared to 8% for blacks, 29% for Hispanics, and 26% for Asians.
Now, the thing is, and I'm gonna move on from this point, but this is what I want to get from that. The people who are running the numbers, they don't like that. So what are they going to do? They don't like that. But they're just going to sit there and let you just, outpopulate them? What they going to do? They're going to do something. You think they can shoot you to death? You know how hard it is to shoot, 50 million people? I don't know if you can shoot 50 million people. It'd be real hard to do because they might fight back and you ain't going to get them all at the same time. And, and then everybody else got to, and that's hard. It's not really going to happen like that. So you're going to have to poison them. It looks like the NSM 2200, NSM 200, it haven't killed everybody yet, so maybe this is not working good enough. You see, this was even back during the 70s. That movie I showed you guys, that was just that was probably like 10 years ago. But it's showing you here, these folks they don't like this. So we're going to see, we're in a change. The bottom line is they can't stop the population change. They can't stop it. But what they can do is they can mess you up. They can mess you up. They can change your DNA.
So for him to tell me that I have to get it.
Hold on.
I don't plan on getting it. I don't want it. So for him to tell me that I have to get it in order for me to not violate my probation is crazy.
This week, a Hamilton County judge ordered a man to get the COVID-19 vaccine as a condition of his probation. The WCPO 9 team first broke this story here at 6 last night. Well, now Judge Christopher Wagner explains why he issued that order. Here is Chief Investigative Reporter Craig Cheatham with the latest.
He asked me, was I vaccinated? I told him no.
On Thursday, 21-year-old Brandon Rutherford told us a Hamilton County judge ordered him to get the COVID vaccine within 60 days as a condition of Rutherford's probation.
I don't plan on getting it. I don't want it. So for him to tell me that I have to get it in order for me to not violate my probation is crazy, because I'm just trying to do what I can to get off this as quickly as possible, like finding a job and everything else. But that little thing can set me back.
According to a court transcript of that Wednesday hearing, Judge Christopher Wagner told Rutherford, "I'm just a judge, not a doctor, but I think the vaccine's a lot safer than fentanyl, which is what you had in your pocket." Then the judge ordered Rutherford to get vaccinated for COVID-19 as a condition of Rutherford's probation. Wagner said, "So you're going to maintain employment, you're not going to be around a firearm. I'm going to order you within the next 2 months to get a vaccine and show that to the probation office, okay?"
So, I mean, we just need to understand. I mean, the only thing is, I'm about to end this off. I'm going to say a couple other things, and then we're about to get this off, because actually it's going on too long. Let's look at what Michael Jackson. Sony Music Kid.
You know, let me just say this. The tradition of great performers from, and I really want you to hear what I have to say. The tradition of great performers from Sammy Davis Jr. to James Brown to Jackie Wilson to Fred Astaire, Gene Kelly. The story is usually the same, though. You know, these guys work really hard at their craft, but the story ends the same. They usually are broken, torn, and usually just sad, and the story is very sad in the end because the companies take advantage of them. They really do. And Sony being being the artist that I am at Sony, I've generated several $1 billion for Sony, several billion, and they really thought that my mind is always on music and dancing, and it usually is, but they never thought that this performer, myself, would outthink them.
Yeah! You see this? So, and I'm not going to play all of that because that's a clip as well with Michael Jackson, but Prince as well. The issue is these companies, these groups of people, this elevated group of folks, they have gotten by stealing ideas, stealing labor. They've not only done it to black people for 100 years or whatever, 400 years, 500 years, whatever it is. They've done it to their own poor groups of people back in wherever the hell they was from, different places like Ireland and, stuff. But, I need to go through some of that too. But I know that they've done it. They did it in Spain way back. This is a Babylonian type situation here. It's about stealing, lying. Okay, that's the name of the game. That's the rules. Stealing and legitimizing your stealing. Making your steal like you can steal, I can steal from you, but it's okay. But you can't steal back from me because that's against the law. You see? So people are fighting that back. And that's why they're having a lot of trouble nowadays. The things is changing. All sorts of knowledge is coming into the people. People are woke, and which is a good term. Being aware, woke is a good term. Be aware. Awareness is good. Not sleep, not on dope, stupid. They want to make sure that people. What did Judge Joe Brown just say? He said, let's look at it. Judge Joe just said, these people made it so you can graduate high school and not be able to read or write or count. I see a governor just signed a law that removed requirements to be able to read and count for high school graduation. Such things say a lot about the sorry state of affairs in this country. This is a slave. This is preparing this nation to be a slave. That's what this is doing. You're going to sit up here and allow folks to, not be able to read and count. And the last thing I'm going to say is with the gender war. You got a situation, TLC. Now I'm going to talk to my women. One of the things is you don't want your lineages to be, you don't want your womb to be barren. You want to at least have a couple of kids. And I'll say that to even all white people. I'm on jobs and there's a lot of white people. They are proud to not have kids. They just got dogs. I don't have a problem with you having dogs, but I'm saying, really, people are not paying attention. They're not woke. And so they're just going about their feelings, and the propaganda is out here to make you choose to kill yourself. And when I say kill yourself, you die when you don't propagate your lineage, or you don't even adopt, you don't train the next generation of human beings to run the world. That's part of your death if you don't get a chance to do that. And so when you do have a chance to do that, you should take that chance. But at least TLC, she just hasn't got married. That's fine. Which I don't, I wouldn't say it's fine, but stuff happens in people's life. It is what it is. I'm not judging anybody, but we should want to try to, especially people that have means and everything, you should take care and reproduce yourself. Have a lineage. Don't allow this propaganda to make you think it's cool to just be barren. And a lot of this is coming out of the women, because I guess the woman does go through the most when you're dealing with children. They go through the most. They go through the most, but we're dead without them. You see, we're as a species, we're dead. And especially, we notice that people who have the worst ability to take care of children have the most kids. But people like TLC or like Vivica Fox out here, I never met a man I could have children with. Proud. I'm a proud childless woman. You proud? I mean, what? Vivica Fox is making it clear she might not have given birth to children. She has had the opportunity to mother young people in her life. Okay. All right. But there's no, you're not furthering your lineage. You're not taking personal responsibility for the next generation. So I think we need to understand, like, this is very important. You should, especially if you have means, and you have the ability, you have the health, have children. That's important. We're putting temporary stuff above what is more real, and the most real thing is your lineage. So anyway, people, I think this is pretty much where I'm going to start ending this thing off. But I'm glad anybody has listened to me. And it actually went on longer than I thought it was going to go.
I don't know why.
But peace out.
You treat me like you do, but you do. Lord, you do.